some people like punishment. More, Kevin McCarthy wants more and more. He's up to round 5 now, and you're still not the Speaker of the House. Let's give you the update. Kevin McCarthy has lost yet another round, round 5, voting for the speakership bid. And now the House is moving on again. What will happen? The drama, the suspense? Not really. Okay, he doesn't have the votes. Okay, so the summarized drama per the New York Times goes something like this. Until Tuesday, the House had not failed to elect a speaker on the first roll call vote since 1923. When the election stretched for 9 ballots, House President dictates members continue to take successive votes until someone, Mr. McCarthy or a different nominee, secures the majority needed to prevail. If Mr. McCarthy continues to flounder, Republicans could shift their votes to an alternative, such as his number 2 representative, Steve Scalise of Louisiana. That, again, from the New York Times. The thin Republican majority in the chamber means almost all of the party's members must agree on a speaker, including the guy that lied, including the guy who's an incoming Congressman Santos, who lied about everything. He is needed too here. If all members of the House are voting and participating, the winner needs 218 votes. Republicans control 222 seats. So you see what they're up against here. On Tuesday, Mr. McCarthy drew, well, at most 203 votes. He failed to sway 21 GOP members with the most recent vote. Deadlock House of Representatives began its second day without a leader sworn or sworn members after the Republicans controlling the chamber failed to elect a speaker. Representative Kevin McCarthy of California, the GOP leader, lost 3 votes in a row amid a rebellion by far-right members of his party. The House returned at noon to try to resolve this impasse. After his defeats, Mr. McCarthy and his allies worked into the night to win over defectors. He also called former President Donald J. Trump, who had endorsed him but stayed mostly silent on Tuesday as the California Republicans suffered defeat after defeat on the House floor. I'm gonna bring you in right now, Ben, because I think I would rather be mocked and roasted on SNL, than put up with this. Why is he seeming to enjoy the punishment? Wouldn't you say, look, there's not gonna be a vote until you know for sure. Until you know for sure that it's a lock, right? Isn't that how politics works?
Yeah, well, a lot of these Republicans that pretend to be conservative are actually masochists and enjoy all sorts of punishment they don't admit publicly. McCarthy's just admitting it publicly. He is wanting this public shellacking. It probably arouses him at this point. It's just insanity. I mean, the fact that you've got this party that is imploding before our very eyes, just the culmination of the deserved imploding they've been doing. This is what happens when you reap what you sow, when you endorse a bunch of crazies, a bunch of fringe people, a bunch of fringe leaders, and do not put your foot down for the values your party has historically stood for, but instead make it so clear how you want sheer power and control and fame. And this is what happens. You got all of your fame and power hungry fringe members of your party that are doing this to just put gum in the works and get their name in the papers.
And I gotta tell you, I've gained a lot of weight. I've gained a lot of weight because when I watch comedy, and this is comedy, I can't stop eating. If it's a scary movie, I'm kind of like frozen for a little bit, so I feel like I eat less. But with this 2-day odyssey of humiliation, I'm eating more and more and more, just putting anything in my mouth.
Well, you need to watch better comedy because you'd be laughing a lot of the time, which would reduce the amount of eating.
This is it. It's more like I'm on the edge of my seat, like, ooh, another vote. And here's again, his ears are all red and everything. Donald Trump took to Truth Social this morning, begging the GOP to back McCarthy's bid. Let's throw it up there. He says some really good conversations took place last night, and it's now time for all of our great Republican House members to vote for Kevin. Close the deal, take the victory, and watch crazy Nancy Pelosi fly back home to a very broken California, the only speaker in U.S. history to have lost the House twice. Republicans did not turn a great triumph into a giant, an embarrassing defeat. It's time to celebrate. You deserve it. Kevin McCarthy will do a good job and maybe even a great job, just watch. I mean, I kind of feel like he could care less, right? He then followed up by attacking Mitch. He tells Republicans, stick together, and then look what he does. He's back attacking Mitch McConnell and his wife, Elaine Chao. If Republicans are going to fight, we ought to be fighting Mitch McConnell and his domineering, China-loving boss, I mean wife. Now, he does love a good racist social representation, Ben. Does he have any power left to sway these rogue Republicans to snatch the pacifiers out of their mouths and say, do as I say? He used to be able to do it.
He used to be able to have power over all of them, including McCarthy, and now his power has waned, but sadly and scarily, because I want this saga to continue forever, he probably does still have some sway over the fringe crazies in the Republican Party that are holding this out, the Boeberts and the Gateses of the world. But his power is very diminished because he also just seems more unhinged than ever. He at least used to have somewhat consistent positions while in power. And now, just last night, when they asked if he would still support McCarthy, he said, we're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see. Maybe I will, maybe I will not. Let it play out. And the next morning he's like, well, someone explain the math. There's no other choice. You gotta support him. It's obvious to everybody. I've known it from day one. It's very clear. So, I mean, he is ping-ponging around the horn right there, as is per usual for the disintegration of his mind that's happened lately. So he has a lot less power, at least formally and finally.
The holdouts, they didn't listen to Donnie's request. Okay, they've continued what is a clear attack on McCarthy. They don't like him. They don't like him at all. They don't want to leave him. My dad used to say, when you're disagree with somebody, you gotta leave the other person with a little something to lose. You gotta leave him somewhat whole. You don't need to own everything, right? Okay. They want him broken. They want him broken, dissected, the whole thing. Many took to social media in this crowd. These angry right wing, I don't even know if you call them right wingers. They're just kind of like this rogue bunch doing their own thing. They're delighting though in the predicament McCarthy finds himself in. Representative Linda Sanchez, California's 38th district, tweeted this. This California is having a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. Which led to this inspired recreation of the children's book, Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. She'd like to recreate that.
Yes, also, if I can just add, I love that the main story all over the news yesterday was not only is this the first in over 100 years, but Congress will not be able to get anything done. The House will not be able to pass anything for a whole day, as though we're used to legislation just flying through, successfully being passed by any party in Congress, let alone the Republicans. So I don't care if this goes on for 2-3 weeks, they wouldn't be passing anything anyway.
No, and this was supposed to just be a holiday where they brought their families to the swearing in, probably on the taxpayers' dime. And they said, you know what? Otherwise, we don't even want to be back yet, okay?
Yeah.
Our holiday break stretches into like the 3rd week of January, so yeah.
Yes, also the one thing they did do, because they didn't need legislation for this, the second the Republicans took control with just more numbers yesterday, they removed the metal detectors from entering the House chamber, because why would they ever want to be safe? Even Scalise, who's considered one of the backup choices, who was shot in a shooting on a baseball field and came back more in favor of removing gun restrictions. That's how in the pocket of the very odd side these people all are. But in good news, just breaking news, I just got this right now. George Santos has just announced himself the new Speaker of the House, so that's exciting. No votes.
Exciting. Okay.
No votes, but he's
a trustworthy guy. I'd like to see what his first measure is. A speaker doesn't have pardon powers, do they? I think that could stretch down to Brazil, perhaps.
George Santos will, though. I am speaker and I've appointed myself pardon powers, and I give myself all clemency for Brazilian crimes.
Oh my goodness, Georgie. There's this Twitter user pointed out that no level of brown nosing or ass-kissery could save McCarthy. Look at him scratching his head there. The face you make when you've kissed everyone's ass. Now they're an angry bunch, but they have some good one-liners here. Then there's this: following Tuesday's dismissal, or dismal rather, turnout, Representative Matt Gaetz decided that he wanted to inflict some more pain. Okay. He reached out to J. Brett Blanton, the architect of the Capitol, about McCarthy still occupying the Speaker office. Matt Gaetz wrote a letter, okay, and he spell checked it. Dear Mr. Blanton, I write to inform you that the Speaker of the House office located in the U.S. Capitol building is currently occupied by Representative Kevin McCarthy. As of this morning, the 117th Congress adjourned, and a Speaker from the 118th Congress has not been elected. After 3 undecided votes, no member can lay claim to the office. Of course, now there's 5 votes and McCarthy hasn't won anything. What is the basis in law, Gaetz goes on to say, House rule or precedent to allow someone who has placed second in 3 successive Speaker elections to occupy the Speaker of the House office? How long will he remain there before he is considered a squatter? Please write back promptly, as it seems Mr. McCarthy can no longer be considered Speaker designate following today's balloting. Besides McCarthy looking pathetic, you mentioned George Santos, right, Ben? Okay.
Yep.
Official government site made him look like the liar he is on the very first day with this press release. Remember, nothing could get done, no business. There really is no House of Representatives right now. No one's sworn in, but still didn't stop this press release. Political reporter Olivia Beavers did clarify, however, that the PR announcement was done by the Office of the Chief Administrative Officer for all freshman offices. It was published without some offices knowing about it, but there you see it, taking the oath of office, swearing in as a member of the 118th Congress, U.S. Representative George Santos. He is not yet a congressman.
He's probably just meant that he was swearing inside the House.
Well, there's that. I'm sure there's a lot of swearing. I saw where Kevin McCarthy had all these pizzas delivered as they hunkered down and strategized for the night. Hey, it's not over till it's over.
Listen, I don't mind him getting pizzas delivered. Maybe it'll lead to him being arrested. They can spot where he is.
Oh, that's right.
Andrew Tate style, and grab him down for supporting an insurrection against our country. How does that sound?
Well, he was there, wasn't he?
He was there, and he condemned it for a day and a half until he decided he wanted the fried shrimp at Mar-a-Lago. Yeah. Decided to go and endorse the architect of it.
Kiss the ring. He's good at it, but apparently not good enough. Nation's legislative process is at a standstill. As we mentioned, members cannot be sworn in. They can't adopt rules. They cannot vote on bills until a speaker is chosen, until speaker's in place. Also observed on Tuesday, Representative AOC, what on earth was going on? She was spotted on the floor talking to 2 of her more controversial colleagues, Matt Gaetz and Representative Paul Gosar. Her exchanges with Gosar and Gaetz, 2 of the 20 Republicans who bucked McCarthy's repeated bids to secure enough votes, appeared, well, nice enough, amiable, but audio was not captured. Here's a brief C-SPAN video of their exchange. You see her up close whispering, I guess because it's a very crowded area, she felt safe enough, okay? After the threats in the vile way, particularly Gosar has talked about her, Ben. She was left to break it down, and here's what she said. The New York Congresswoman later telling reporters she had been reassuring Gosar and Gaetz that Democratic leadership was not planning a side deal to get McCarthy to win, right? McCarthy was suggesting he could get the Democrats to walk away to lower his threshold. AOC telling The Intercept of her talk with Gaetz, and I fact checked, and I said absolutely not. She added that she had been discussing adjournment, that strategy, with Gosar. In an MSNBC appearance several hours later, AOC emphasized the unprecedented nature of the situation, saying it's about the cards that are in McCarthy's hands. And if he chooses to approach the Democratic caucus, then that would be a negotiation in and of itself for a potential coalition government. Can there be a coalition here when you have a faction over there, okay? Because basically they're calling you a squatter. and humiliating you. And they don't like the Democrats much either, but it seemed they liked AOC more than Kevin McCarthy. Can there be some kind of negotiation where Kevin McCarthy succeeds? I don't know how long he'd be Speaker, Ben, but what do you think?
I think that there is some chance of a coalition government. It would be a very weird, dysfunctional one, but it would be a better situation for the Democrats than having McCarthy cave in further to the extreme far right, QAnon, wackanon wing of the party. And so it would be very interesting. I mean, McCarthy already in his raw bid for power, because if you cared about the country, you would just give up at this point and let somebody else take the reins, but he won't do it. So he already agreed to not only change rules that they could remove him from power quickly, that was enough for them. He changed the rules so that he agreed to literally get rid of the House Ethics Oversight Panel. To get rid of the ethics. They're like, look, if we're gonna support you, you gotta make sure you don't hold us to any sort of ethical standard. He agrees, they still don't come on board. Maybe he makes some concessions to the Democrats to get a few votes, and it enables it to be at least a more mild, at least a more centrist version of a Republican House. That would be the best outcome we could probably ever hope for. I don't hold my breath to it, but that would be wonderful.
We'll see. Like I said, he says he's not walking away, he's not giving up. If there's breaking news, we'll get after it. We'll tell you if there's a 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th vote.
Wait, there's breaking news right now. I just got it. George Santos has declared himself King of America.
Wow.
I see that coming. Amazing.
Well, and Harry and Meghan can come to his, what do you call it? It's the coronation, right?
Coronation? No, this just in, Harry and Meghan have been excommunicated from George Santos' kingdom. They have to move back to England now.
Good old George. He is the gift that keeps giving.
King George.
The King George. And then you have on the other side where Hakeem Jeffries, the representative, he's sitting pretty, right? He actually looks good just sitting there, not really saying much, because what is there to say? The other side is imploding. He earned 212 votes on the first 3 ballots. Representative Jeffries will probably not win, as the party only controls 212 seats, short of the majority required. He did have this to say on the GOP deadlock. Listen.
We are looking for a willing partner to solve problems for the American people, not save the Republicans from their dysfunction. We need a partner in governance to build upon the incredible progress that we made for the American people over the last few years. By the way, with a similar majority. But under the great leadership of Speaker Pelosi, Democrats united, progressives, New Dems, and Blue Dogs united, we accomplished extraordinary things on behalf of the American people. And those are just the highlights of what Democrats did with a similar narrow majority. So we're ready to get to work to build upon those accomplishments if we can find a partner willing to govern on behalf of the American people.
No work can be done until the Congress is seated. There is no House of Representatives as of right now. There's just not one right now. So there's not gonna be any work, Representative Jeffries, but it kind of feels like, Ben, you ever see up close, maybe you've even been part of it at a time, these dysfunctional relationships. And then you see your friend across the street and you're like, whoa, I thought we were bad. I thought we were fighting. This is a whole nother animal.
Yeah, I've been in some of those dysfunctional relationships. I know them up close, and I wish I had neighbors that were as dysfunctional as some of mine. That would have made me feel better. But I do see it in the political arena all the time. And it is just truly incredible to see the difference between adults that are there actually to govern. I mean, look, no doubt both sides are corrupt. Both sides are in the pockets of lobbyists and of big business. And we have a very broken system and the money has to come out. But that said, there's still one of those two sides that is broken and corrupt, that is still fighting for things that would help the vast majority of the American people. And the other one is just straight up corrupt, even in their policies. And the choice is clear. I mean, you just see it in front of your eyes. There's a clown show on one side and there's adults on the other.
And now the clowns are calling saying, you know what, don't do that to us. Don't put that on us. I mean, it's really, really bad. But as I said, we'll keep following it and we'll let you know what happens. We'll let you know because it ain't over yet.